You say no to go out with your friends. You say no to the vacations. You say no to your own potential. You say no to reading books. You say no to believing in yourself to make more money so that you can go on vacations. You say no to going out and believing that you can attract a mate. You gotta just believe in yourself. But that's hard when you're sick and have low energy. A lot of people might be saying, well, I'm not sick. Well, guess what? If you have low energy, you're sick. If you're passing up on opportunities, you're sick. If you're negative, you're sick. If you're not living a life that you enjoy, you're sick. It's not just physical sickness. If you're living a life where you're passing up on opportunities and you're not perceiving life as beautiful, you're sick. If you can't see and feel the beauty of life, you're sick. Because sickness is about your consciousness and your level of energy. Sickness is about the thoughts that are going through your head on a day-to-day basis. Sickness is not just about the body. It manifests in the mind and it manifests in your life. If you're not taking life by the horns, you're sick. If you're not in a good relationship, whether that be with your friends, your family, if you don't have healthy relationships in your life, you're sick. If you're not seeking out growth, novelty, inspiration, you're sick. These are all ways that you can know if you're sick. And the sickest thing, not in a good way, the sickest thing about this day and age of how many people are sick is that most people don't think that they're sick. Most people don't think that they're sick. And so the sickness progresses more and more. And that's why you see people they seem like they're okay in their teens. They're okay in their 20s maybe, but in their 30s, 40s, 50s, they start getting more and more of this sullen look. They start looking more and more like Gollum from Lord of the Rings. They start getting more cynical. They're just automatons. They turn more and more into robots. They can't think for themselves. They're just parroting the same politics and BS that they hear from the news. And they just become, sadly, more and more unpleasant people to be around. And you guys know what I'm talking about. And so that sickness, that energetic sickness, that life sickness, it permeates and it digs very deep down into your soul. And it will manifest in your body sooner or later. That's why more and more people are getting these horrible diseases earlier and earlier in life. But what you have to look at is, so what is it that's causing the sickness? What is it that's causing this misery, the mental health problems, the anxiety, the social isolation? What's causing this loneliness? What's causing this sickness that makes me not be able to see opportunity? I'm not going out. I'm not growing. I'm not moving. And you know what? To even be able to confirm and admit that you have a sickness, you have to be a certain level of wise. A lot of people are so sick they will not even admit that they have a certain level of sickness. They don't want to look at it. They don't want to address it. They're confused. So the first step is admitting, look, I have a sick portion of my life. I have to fix it. You have to admit it so that you can start exploring the remedies. And so maybe you're fat, but you're not fat just because of external, shallow, surface level, dumb reasons. Maybe you're fat because you have lethargy in your entire soul. And the lethargy in your soul is making you dull and imperceptive and lazy. And that's manifesting in your body externally. You see, people are so unintelligent in modern society that they cannot even diagnose or give a real reason for fatness. They think that fatness is just a biological reason. They don't understand that everything in your physical manifestation is a reflection of your energy, of your mind, and of your spirit. And that if someone's fat, there's a mental reason. There's an energetic reason. There's a spiritual reason why they're fat. It's not just genetic, because everywhere you look, people who have the same physical environment and input will have different outputs, even twins. So it's not even just genetics. So people get this really twisted and they don't look at the internal environment to fix external physical problems. But the truth is, if you're overweight and fat, it's because your metabolism is not where it should be. Now there's physical reasons about this, but there's also mental reasons about this. You have a mental metabolism and you have a physical metabolism. And so what you want to do is you want to address them both at the same time. Because if you only address one, then you're going to get pulled back. And people see this all the time. They feel like they're overweight. They try an external solution It works for a little bit, but then they fall right back. They backslide. And even that word, they backslide, doesn't it have a spiritual connotation? He backslid. Well, what that really implies is that there's something that's more deep that you didn't address. And so if you try to lose weight and you end up coming back to where you were before, it's because you probably had a bad strategy. And at the same time, you didn't really make the inward shift that you needed to make. So I see a lot of people, they try to go on these weight loss programs. My dad was constantly struggling with this. He would go on these weight loss Atkins diets, and it would work for a little bit, but then all of a sudden, he's back down, and he just gains it all back. And so the question is, all right, so the physical action that he took, it did a little bit, but then he goes right back. And it's because he was just following a program. He never really understood what was going on in his body, of why he was overeating. Why are people overeating? He never understood the mental reasons why he wasn't exercising, why he wasn't sleeping right, and why he's not in touch with his body enough to understand, well, maybe I should do some fasting, maybe I should do a cleanse, I feel a little bit tired and lethargic. He wasn't in touch enough with his body. And so that lack of intuition, that lack of perception, that lack of knowledge is the lethargy that made him overweight. It's not just physical, guys. There's deeper reflections of what's happening. It's like an iceberg. And so the real reason for his overweight and being 40, 50, 60 pounds overweight was everything I just said. Not paying attention enough to all the factors that go into health. Not understanding the food impact. What kind of foods was he eating that were causing the lethargy, that caused him not want to work out? Maybe if he was paying attention and was attuned to wanting to be healthy and vibrant and attuned to the energy of God that makes you want to grow, expand, and help fix whatever you can in this world, he'd be attuned to having higher levels of performance and energy. And he'd want that. And he'd want that so bad that he would pass on watching the blue light TV till 12 p.m. and then going to sleep and having bad sleep because of the blue light. He'd be attuned. And how would he know that? Because he would be looking for that information. Seek and ye will find. He'd be reading books about health. He'd be reading books about what goes into optimizing your testosterone levels. He'd be learning how to fix his sleep. He's had sleep issues for many years, and that's not good. But what did he do about it? Nothing. How many books did he read about it? Nothing. He just went with the flow and just covered it up and masked it, more. And so nothing ever really got fixed. And so that's the underlying pattern, is that when you have an external problem, there's so much that you can do internally to understand how to go about fixing the problem. And it's actually, a lot of these physical problems are much easier to deal with than people think. But what they're trying to do is go about it the wrong way. And so they never make progress. So another example, I know this guy, I won't say his name, but he has a very dysfunctional life right now. And it's reflective of how a lot of people feel. He just goes to work, doesn't really like his job that much, always complaining about not getting paid enough. And then he'll come home and he'll just smoke weed, play video games, not saving money, beat up car, disheveled appearance, probably 20, 30 pounds overweight, tons of acne, and doesn't have a girlfriend, doesn't really have hobbies or a friend group. And so it's just sad. And this guy is mid-30s, still living at home. And so you see a lot of these guys and they have these hang-ups, but they're not really doing much about it. It just makes you think, wow, how much are they missing out on? They could be out here living this amazing life, but he's not. He's not expanding, he's not learning, he's not in the mountains. Why isn't he in the mountains? Why isn't he exploring? Why isn't he traveling? Why isn't he sucking the juice out of life? And he's really not. He's just in the same environment, just running around on the ground, just getting what he can and then just eating it. He's hungry. He's just some desperate. That's really how I see it, because that's not a life. If when you were 13 and a genie showed up and said, I'm gonna show you what your life is gonna be like in your mid-30s, you'd be rubbing your hands together and you'd be saying, great. Oh, let's see how much of a winner I am. Let's see how great my life is. But then he shows you, and what if he just showed you that you're still living at home with your parents, No real friend group, no real passion, no real girlfriend, just playing video games, eating unhealthy food, kind of feeling like crap, and developing, here's the big one, developing these philosophies of complaining, the government sucks, the economy's in the bag. It's just like blame, complain, victim. And it's just super sad. If he saw that when he was 13, he'd just be thinking, damn, that's not me, man. That's not me. Even just his physical appearance, he'd be like, damn, no. It would be like the night before Christmas where those demons come and haunt Scrooge and they show him where you're gonna be if you keep on this horrible path. You'd be scared, you'd be like, no, please tell me how to reverse this fate. Don't, it's blinding my eyes. It's hurting my spirit. It really would. And life is much harder than people think it is. And so life beats them up and then they start coping. And then the snowball's already rolling. And it's just a matter of time before they're turning into a person they never wanted to be. And it's hard to come back. I remember I felt like that several times in my life. And everyone has rock bottom experiences. And when you have a tough experience like that, maybe it's not as dramatic as, oh, I got addicted to alcohol, I hit rock bottom. But a lot of people are approaching rock bottom slowly. Thank you. They're approaching rock bottom slowly, and it's like a steady decline. So you see a lot of people, they're complacent. It's actually worse than hitting rock bottom, because when you hit rock bottom, you realize you're completely gonna die if you don't change. But when you're just a frog in the pot and you're slowly being cooked, you don't even realize that you're sick. You don't even realize that you're fucked. You don't even realize that you're in danger. And everything in society makes you just want to believe that everything's going to be okay. Just keep on eating the ice cream, keep on watching the porn, keep on smoking the weed, keep on drinking the alcohol, because they get paid by that. You're paying them. In other words, they're vampirizing you. They're sucking you dry. They're milking you like a sheep. They're just milking you. They don't want you to wake up. They want you to stay in the delusion. It's kind of like Madara Uchiha uses Sharingan and puts you into this illusion so that you can just stay weak and complacent. They're your enemy. They lull you into complacency because they're not allowed to kill you, but they're benefiting from you. And so while you're in this Sharingan delusion, they're going to your house and they're stealing from you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And that's what you see happening a lot in society more. You see it happening more and more and more. People are in that delusion and they're getting taken advantage of. And it's like you don't even feel like you have to break free, because it feels good actually. It's like a pleasant dream. And the more pleasant it is, the less you want to break free. You could break free, but it would take an active force of will. It would take a big active force of will. And a lot of people, they just like the dream so much. Well, this dream is actually pretty nice. It's not that bad. It's not perfect, but they'll settle for it. Look at this restaurant, by the way. That's made of storage crates. How sick is that? It's a sports bar. That is so cool. And getting out here, by the way, and exploring, you see so many different things you've never seen. It's just so expansive, and it's just sad that so many people they don't let themselves go and see it because they don't have the money, the energy, the drive, the desire. They're just smoking weed in their parents' house, playing video games, not building skills, not building freedom, just perpetuating the prison that they've been put in more and more and more. And they're proud of it. And they act like there's nothing wrong with it. Well, my friend, maybe right now you don't feel like there's anything wrong with it, but what about in 5 more years, 10 more years? Karma is cause and effect. And you see people eating the bitter fruits of their life. All of a sudden, something horrible happens in their health. So you think it's worth it, but it's because you don't see the other side of the devil's deal. He's not showing you. He's not showing you the other side. He's just showing you, he's a master salesman. He just shows you everything good about it up front. And this goes for emotionality too. Whew, glad that didn't get me in the eye. That was a close one. And so, example from my life is, I would actually have shyness. I would have shyness and I didn't know what to do about it. And I just left it there for a long time. And only in the last 4 years, I've been reading books, seeking out mentors, and being obsessed with this problem. And you might say, Well, what's wrong with being shy? Well, life is what you make of it. So if you want to live a life where you're shy, be my guest. You will reap the fruits of being shy, and you won't be able to reap the fruits of being courageous and bold. And so I decided that's not how I want to live. I want to live a life of courage. I want to live a life of involvement, meeting new people. And so that was my decision. But if you have 30 years or 20 years of being shy behind you, you're gonna have to exert a lot of will, a lot of energy to actually break that. So I'm back at the cabin. So I want to wrap this video up because we have more hiking to do. But I'll jump back on later. We'll talk more about this because I want to talk more about the emotional side of physical ailments and the physical ailments and how they can be caused by how you're living your life, your spiritual smallness, your spiritual pettiness, how your relationships and your job and your dating life, everything in the outside reflects from the inside. And so the main goal, yes, is to help you lose the weight, to purge the toxin, and to become a physical reflection of what you want to be externally, because it's the easiest thing to manipulate, right? So we're going to manipulate the body so that we can start manipulating the mind more and more, right? So as you get more and more energy in your body, you're going to have more energy in your mind. As you get more power and strength in your body, you're going to get more power and strength in your mind. And so what we want to do is use both. And so that's what the difference is between approaching health, weight loss from a yogic perspective versus from the Western perspective. Western perspective, very shallow, very stupid, very elementary, very short-term results oriented, and very expensive and just a scam, right? They are the wolves in sheep's clothing, okay? They are the Akatsuki that's putting people into mass delusion, taking advantage of them and stealing from them. But the yogic method of weight loss and being healthy, it's not just about weight loss, it's just what we focus on because, right, it's a good marker of the outside. The yogic approach to health, well-being, and weight loss is you pay attention to everything. You transform your internal mentality with knowledge, with experience, with inspiration, with a new vision, with a new orientation, and you pay attention, you learn, and you transform both at the same time. You use the body and the mind, see? And when you transform the body and the mind, you get the real result in your body. Because for fat loss, you're not just thinking, let me take the supplement, stoop Western. You're thinking, let me pay attention to every single thing that's going in to why my hormones are out of whack, to why I'm overeating. And so it gives you the power and the insight. So one easy way that you can start this process is purging out all the bullshit. You can do a mental detox, you can do a physical detox, and you just clear out everything super duper fast. And what I've done is I've made a PDF so that you can do that. Start with the physical. I want you to start reorganizing and purging, doing a mental detox, but you have to start with a physical detox. And this is easy as just taking herbs morning and night. And then on day 7, since it's a 7-day detox, you take a certain oil that'll flush you out and you're gonna see all this poison coming out of your body. So day 1 through 6, loosen it up, take the herbs. It's really simple, it's triphala and some ghee. A little bit more there, but it'll teach you the recipes that you need to start purging and detoxing so that you're not eating poison. So I really want people to start feeling the power of what it's like to really start purging all this mental crap, all this propaganda that we have from the American fitness and health system, and to start feeling what it's like to just detox. And that's the number 1 step. So click right now, click the link in the description, get the free PDF, the 7-day yogi cleanse. Do it for 7 days and you're gonna feel like you're transforming mind and body. You're gonna feel like you have a new outlook on life. You're gonna feel like you have a new power in your body and your mind. You're gonna digest better, you're gonna sleep better, you're gonna exercise better, you're gonna think better, you're gonna believe in yourself more, you're gonna find yourself talking to more people, more social, you're gonna be more ambitious, you're gonna believe in yourself more. And it just comes from getting rid of all the rubbish, all the bull crap that's in your system. Because believe me, we've been fed a whole lot of rubbish and bull crap, and it's time to purge it. So click now, get your link, do it, leave a comment below on what you think I left out of this talk. What else goes into a person's overall well-being so that they can see the opportunities in life and pound like a great lion. Love you very much. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I will see you in the next video. And remember, Health hackers are the ones who win.